Hi everybody, welcome to today's webinar. I'm Jim Stahoviak, the Associate Director of iCater here at the University of Iowa, and today we are going to take a look at a communication app. One that's a little bit different than the ones we've looked at in the past. This is called Proloquo4Text. It's right here. If you think you've heard of something like that before, you're probably right. That is from the same company that created and produces Proloquo2Go. So it's another communication app. The difference is it's a little bit cheaper. It's $130 in the App Store as opposed to, I believe, Proloquo2Go is up to $220 now. So it's cheaper, but also it's used for a different type of individual that might have a communication impairment. So let's open it up and take a look at what this looks like. So when I open up Proloquo4Text, this is what I get. You can see there's no symbols in here. That's the biggest difference between that and Proloquo2Go. This is used for somebody that has maybe a little bit better literacy skills, that's able to read what's on the screen. It's going to help them communicate quicker in that respect if they don't need those symbols. And they set some things up within this to make it a little bit easier to navigate and quickly come up with some different phrases. So there's some different, let's take a look at the differences here. So this right in the middle, what we have right in the middle here, this is where we're going to kind of build our language. So there's some things that'll speak as soon as we press them. Other things, as we type, they're just going to build in here, and then when we're ready to speak them, we go and press that little play button down at the bottom. Over on the right side over here, what we've got is this is our quick talk area. So all of this stuff, we can save things that we want to have quick access to this area over here. And with the quick access, we hit it, it speaks what's said, what's connected to it. It doesn't print anything out in the middle. So for example, if we were looking at this and we wanted to say something to somebody, we could hit this patience button. And it's going to tell us, you know, that says, please be patient while I write my message. I'm going to turn that volume up so you can hear it a little bit better. You didn't see anything printed in here, but it gave us that quick talk option. We can kind of embed things within that quick talk as well. You see expressions here has a little arrow up at the top of that. If I press that, well, it doesn't have any in there right now, but it takes me to another area where we can add expressions ourselves. But we have things built in here like quick things that you might need to say to somebody in just a general setting. That's what's going to be built into this quick talk area. Let's see what happens if we hit this little bubble up top here. That's going to show us our history. So with that little bubble up there, we can see this that turns into a clock. If we hit that back and forth, that area changes from quick talk to history. So if we said something, you know, somewhat recently, it's built in our history. We can access it quickly, and we can say, you know, we can build it in. And you see when I tap it, it built into the middle. I go and press play. So that's how that would work. So we've got these two components kind of built into this right side over here. On the left side, we've got something a little bit different. I'm going to go down to the bottom. You see that little X? If I hit that, it clears out what's in my speak box here. So if I go over to this side, this has some phrases stored in it. And if you look at this, I have About Me. If I go tap About Me, I have phrases for name, address, home phone, work phone, cell phone, town, email, and my speech. I hit name. It builds, you know, my name is Jim on there, and then I can hit play, and it's going to pick that up. Now this has words, so then if we wanted to type as well, if I go up and I hit just in this box, it's going to bring up a keyboard. You can see they've got the keyboard. Here is word prediction, and I typed in my last name yesterday at the end of this sentence. So now it knows say that predicts my last name when I start typing this. So I could say, I could hit that, and I could say now hit play, and it's got that squared away. Now it does pick up my name, but I had to put it into pronunciation to get it to spell it correct or to say it correctly. We'll show you how to do that in just a minute. I want to show you with these phrases some of the cool things that we've got in here. So we've got quick sentences that you might want access to. I don't have any built in there right now. Stories and news, you got personal care, medical appointments, health history, that kind of thing. With stories and news, you can update this so that you've got topic sentences or sentences about recent things that have happened. So I'm going to clear out my name is Jim Stachowiak. I'm going to go back into stories and news, and we could ask somebody, we could ask them, or we could say, and if we have all that stuff in there, you know, we can build these things in pretty quickly and easily. Now, if we wanted to add more to this, into that phrases area, what we can do is we can go and hit this pencil right here. You see that pencil at the top, right top middle there? That pencil is going to give us access to adding more things into any of these areas, whether it be, you know, our phrases, our quick talk, whatever we have access to at that time. So I'm going to hit the pencil, and we're going to bring up, you see quick talk over on the side. I don't want quick talk, so I'm going to hit that little button that's going to give me history. That is not what I wanted. I wanted to be over in phrases here. So let's try this one more time. Let's go and hit this. And now, because I have phrases activated, it should have been there before, but now I've got access to phrases. So I can go into phrases and I can hit the news stories area, and I can go and hit that little triple bar. Actually, it's going to take me into you know, what I've added to this. So there's my Did You Watch the Super Bowl? Can you believe the Seahawks won? I was rooting for Denver. Let's go up and hit this plus key here, and you can then add a category, add an item, or add an item from the clipboard. If you add a category, that's going to give you, that's going to go into that big list of categories that we have. If we want to add something to this stories and news, we want to add an item. So when I hit add an item, I can hit my text to speak, and I can say, you know, let's say, I bet the NFL was glad it didn't snow. Okay, so we can add, and then when we hit done, that is now added into our little news stories area. So if I go and hit, and we can change here lots of different things too. We can add an abbreviation for this, so that when we type this, or when we type that abbreviation, it would expand to this automatically. So let's just make that abbreviation, let's make it NFLS. We'll show you how that works. So now we've got an abbreviation attached to this as well. We can choose the voice that we want to speak this. We can choose the speech rate we want it to use, the voice personalization. Let's go, we don't need to, but this would be what the personalization would look like: deep, deeper, deepest, normal, high, higher, highest. We'll just leave it as what it is. We'll leave the rate and everything the same as well. We can change the background color of this if we wanted to. Lots of things that we can do to change the visual, change how we access this. I'm happy with what I've got here, so I'm going to hit done. And now you can see if I go back into stories and news, I've got this sentence here that I can hit when I start talking about the Super Bowl with somebody that I just added. I bet the NFL was glad it didn't snow. So then we've got that in there, and I've had a nice little conversation about the Super Bowl with somebody using this and accessing things quickly, because it's all about really getting the things quickly. I'm going to take out that. I'm going to take that out for a second because I want to show you something else. If I go back to phrases, so here you can see again several different categories in here. I can add new categories. Just like on this side where we have this little bubble that takes us to history, there's a little bubble here that takes us to something else as well. And if we tap on that, what we have is sentence prediction here. So with this, when I start typing something, instead of just giving me word prediction, it's actually going to give me sentence prediction for what it thinks I might be trying to write, so I can access that a little bit quicker. So let's say I want to talk about, you know, going to the gym later. Let's see if we can get something like that in here. If I say I want, and you can see here when I put, I can choose I want fairly quickly. Let's keep going with to. Now that I've that sentence, let's start over again. I'm going to go back and say I'm going to the gym. Say I'm, and you can see as I start typing that, it just says I'm fine, thanks, I'm fine, I'm just looking around, thanks. That's the sentence predictor that we're getting here. I could say I'm going, and it's not, if you look at the word prediction too, it predicts a little bit more than just one word at a time. I'm going to, and then I could say the gym, and I hit play, and it's going to read and it's going to highlight that back for us as well. So that sentence prediction, it's going to give us some common sentences that come up pretty quickly when we start typing. So we're going to have access to some of those as well. Let me see let's take a look at. There's a couple more things I want to show you with this that I think are important to know, and I think this is a really great product. But I want to show you when we get away from sentence prediction. I'm going to go into the settings, which is this gear, just like pretty much every other app. There's several settings in here. You see these are set to me as my user. I can change the appearance. If I go in the appearance option here, I can change the font. I can change the color. I can change where the controls are. So the controls are these play and delete buttons here. I can move those to the top. I can move where my phrases, my quick talk, my history, my word prediction, my sentence prediction are. Right now it shows where all of those things are. I can move those wherever I want. So I can set myself up to be more comfortable with how this works. I can have both quick talk and phrases on the right side. I can move them wherever I want it. I want them to be to help me be successful. And I can change background colors and fonts as well if need be. If I go into language and speech, when you set this up with a default, there's a default English voice that you can use, but you can also download other voices. This is the voice that I have right now. And here is the other voice. So you can see. So they're both pretty decent, but you can see there's a whole list. We'll get out of it and head back into that so you don't have to listen to that anymore. If we go back into the voice, you can see there's a whole list of other voices that we can download for our own use. So we can set this up however we'd like. In pronunciations here, you see I have my last name in there. You can, if you hit add, you can then go in and type the word and type how you want it pronounced. And you can speak as many times as you need to. Now whenever it comes up with Stahoviak, it's going to pronounce that the way that it's supposed to. So it's another nice component of this. Look at this though too. This is another thing I want to show you. There's several different languages within this, and if you hit, I have a French language and a French voice and a Spanish voice added right now. But I wanted to add more voices I could as well. With this, you can also see this option that says Manage Languages, which is supposedly set to automatic. What this means is that if I use different languages in here, if I type in different languages, this is supposed to recognize when it changes to another language, and it's going to automatically change that voice for me. There's a couple things we need to do to make sure that first. If you don't have this set already, if you go, I'm going to take you out of Proloquo4Text, we're going to go into settings for a second on your iPad. So to be able to use those multiple voices from different languages, you need to go into General in your settings, and then you need to go to Keyboard. And if you haven't done this already, you need to go to where it says Keyboards right in the middle of the screen here. And then you would hit Add a New Keyboard, and you would choose whatever language you wanted to use for Proloquo4Text. So when I was setting this up yesterday, I had to add French and Spanish for what I wanted to do. So just keep that in mind. Now we're going to go back into Proloquo4Text. Now I want to show you something here. When I'm using this, when I type something here, I can type in my name is Jim. We have actually that name, so let's just go to About Me. We have my name is Jim in there, and then I'm going to add a period. When I hit punctuation, this is set to automatically read. Now, because I added those other languages, we see in the bottom of our keyboard here is this little globe-looking thing. That little globe button. When I press that button, it's going to change to another language keyboard. So when I tap that, you'll see it says, I think that's French. It said French on there, I believe. So this is now a French keyboard, and you can see my phrases, my quick phrases over here, and my quick talk changed as well. So let's add let's add something in French to this also. I don't have any quick phrases. We'll just have it say my name is. And then I'm going to hit a period. And now, and you can hear there, it picked up that was French, and it read in the French voice. You can see it's doing word prediction in French as well. I'm going to go back down. I'm going to hit that world globe-looking button again. This is going to change. That went to English. Let's try it one more time. There's Spanish. So now I have Spanish up here, so if I go up and hit, we'll just put that same thing in, that my name is, and so we'll hit the period at the end of that. Now what's cool about this, watch, if I hit play, it's going to go back and it's going to read this whole thing, and it's going to should change as it gets, when it should change languages when it gets to and use the proper language when it gets to that that text. So let's hit play and see if we can get this to work. Okay, the first time it didn't do that. Let's try the second time. I promise you this worked yesterday when I looked at this. It should be, it's set to, it should be set to automatically recognize. But I guess you can see this is maybe not this feature may not be the most accurate of this group. Let's try it one more time. Nope, still not working right, but that's okay. I mean, that's the idea behind it. But if we wanted to change, if we change to that different keyboard, it should read within that. So we can speak in Spanish, we can speak in French, we can speak in several other languages as well as English on top of this. That's just kind of a nice added feature. I mean, I don't know too many people that are probably doing too much conversing in two different languages at the same time. So again, the keys to this are you've got these fast ways. You can load up fast phrases. You can load up quick talk expressions in here. You know, we might add something else in here. Let's say let's go over to the quick talk just to show you how we can add a quick talk option to this. So I'm going to activate the quick talk, and then I'm going to go and hit the pencil, and that's back to phrases again. Let's go back over here to quick talk. We'll try this again. Let's back to phrases. There's quick talk. So we changed that to quick talk. So let's say we wanted to add something in here. If we just hit that plus key and hit add, if we hit add a category, it's going to add something like this expressions option that gives us, lets us go further into something else. And if we wanted to just add an item, let's add an item, and let's say that you know, we were going to one of our friends, let's say birthday parties, and we'll just add happy birthday to our quick expressions, and then hit done. Now you see it pops up in there. If I hit done again, now I've got that there. We go to the party. We don't have to type that all in. We can just say, and we've got that ready to go. So you can say that you can say that to your friend as you meet up with them. You can have those quick links. You get the quick talk. You have the phrases about me. You get the sentence prediction. You got the history to grab text quickly that you said, and you've got the ability to type with word prediction as well. So if you need a communication device but you don't need the symbols that come with the Proloquo4Text or a lot of the other things that are focused on here, this really is a text-based communication device that works well. This also works with the iPhone, so you can use it when you're out and about. And you only have to purchase the app once. You can use it on both the iPad and the iPhone once you purchase it as well. That's about all I have for you today with Proloquo4Text. Again, I think this is a really great app. If you want to see more about that or about other app reviews that we've done, you can download this app right here, the iCater Toolkit, for free on the App Store. Also, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me at james-stachowiak@uiowa.edu, or you can call me at 319-335-5280. Again, have questions.